If you were born 10,000 years ago, you had a 50-50 chance of not surviving childhood. No hospitals, no warm beds, no parents to call for help. Just you against a world that wanted to eat you. This is what it really meant to be a kid in the ancient world. Stick with me till the end. The last challenge will shock you. Life for an ancient kid started dangerously, right from the first breath. There were no doctors, no clean tools, and no medicine during birth. Nearly half of all children didn't live past age 5. A simple cold or fever could easily turn deadly. Surviving winter as a newborn was its own brutal test. Every stumble mattered. There were no soft floors, no padded corners. Fire, sharp tools, and wild animals were always within crawling distance. Even sleep wasn't fully safe. Predators lurked close to camp. Parents had to guard their children every single hour. If a baby survived infancy, tougher challenges were already waiting. Hunger was a daily companion, not an occasional problem. Kids helped search for roots, bugs, and anything edible to survive. Some days there simply wasn't enough food to go around. Eating the wrong berry or mushroom could be a fatal mistake. When hunts failed, entire families went to bed hungry. Food had to be preserved carefully, or it would spoil and vanish. Even finding clean water was a daily chore, not a given. Bad water could bring sickness that no one understood how to cure. Even hungry ancient kids learned early to share what little they had. As soon as they could walk steadily, kids were given real work. There was no such thing as being too young to help. Grinding grain for hours was often a child's daily task. Kids learned to weave, sew, and build, skills that meant survival. Some children spent entire days watching over animals alone. There were no days off. Chores continued rain or shine. By age 7, many kids already had the hands of a worker. Falling behind on chores wasn't really an option. The family depended on it. A full day of labor left little energy for anything else. And that labor didn't stop, no matter how extreme the weather got. In hot regions, kids risked dehydration just doing normal daily tasks. In cold regions, frostbite was a real and constant danger. Keeping a fire alive could mean the difference between life and death. Sudden storms could destroy shelters kids had helped build by hand. Floods could sweep away food stores in a matter of minutes. There was no warning system. The weather simply happened to you. Every child learned to repair shelter because no one else would do it for them. Nature wasn't scenery to ancient kids. It was a daily opponent. And that opponent often had teeth. Wild predators saw small children as easy, vulnerable targets. Kids had to learn danger signs fast. Mistakes could be fatal. Nighttime brought a whole new set of threats to survive. Venomous snakes and insects hid in the most ordinary places. Climbing fast wasn't a game. It was sometimes the only way to survive. Even small injuries had to be treated immediately with whatever was available. A twisted ankle out in the wild could become a serious emergency. With no real medicine, illness was one of the scariest threats of all. Healers used herbs, rituals, and guesswork. Real cures were rare. A fever that seems minor today could easily be deadly back then. There was no way to know which treatments actually worked. Losing a brother or sister young was sadly common, not rare. Communities often built small memorials for children lost too soon. Grief was part of growing up, whether kids were ready or not. And yet life and daily survival always had to continue. But it wasn't only hardship. Ancient kids still found ways to play. Toys were handmade, carved animals, dolls, and simple wooden tops. A spinning top could bring pure joy after a long, hard day. Games of strength and speed helped kids bond and build muscle. Even games often doubled as hidden training for real survival skills. Pretend hunts taught real techniques kids would need later in life. Splashing in a river was one of the few truly carefree moments. Storytelling by firelight was entertainment, history, and lesson all in one. These stories explained the world long before books ever existed. Music and rhythm brought rare, joyful breaks from daily struggle. But even during rest, kids were always quietly learning. There were no classrooms. Every skill was passed down by watching. Hunting skills were taught early, since survival depended on them. Reading tracks and signs in nature was an essential childhood lesson. Knowing which plants healed and which plants harmed could save a life. Making fire from scratch was a skill every child had to master. Failure was expected, but giving up simply wasn't an option. Every mastered skill brought a child one step closer to becoming an adult. And that transition to adulthood often came shockingly early. In many ancient cultures, by age 12 you were already considered an adult. Some communities held tests of courage to mark this passage. A child might be sent out alone, expected to survive the night. Marks, tattoos, or scars sometimes celebrated surviving this difficult stage. Coming back successful meant the whole community now saw you differently. This moment was celebrated. It meant one more provider for the group. But growing up fast also meant losing a childhood most of us take for granted. There was rarely time to simply be a kid for very long. Older children were expected to help raise the younger ones. Babysitting wasn't a chore for money. It was daily family duty. Kids learned patience and responsibility long before adulthood truly began. Family loyalty wasn't a lesson. It was simply survival. In a harsh world, family and community were everything a child had. Many ancient families were also nomadic, constantly on the move. Kids walked for miles, day after day, following food and water. Falling behind on a migration could be extremely dangerous. Crossing rivers, cliffs, and rough terrain was just part of daily travel. Home wasn't always a fixed place. Sometimes it was wherever you stopped. Stability, something we take for granted, simply wasn't guaranteed. And yet through all of this, ancient children adapted incredibly well. They grew resilient, resourceful, and remarkably strong for their age. Knowledge was passed down constantly, kid to kid, generation to generation. Every challenge they overcame shaped the humans who came after them. Compare that to childhood today, with warm homes and full fridges. It's easy to forget how much easier modern life truly is. But that ease exists because ancient kids survived the unimaginable. Every skill, every survival trick was earned through real daily struggle. Some ancient kids even helped their communities discover farming for the first time. Small daily actions from children slowly helped shape entire civilizations. The toughness they built as children carried into the adults they became. Every sunrise was another day survived, another lesson learned. Ancient childhood wasn't easy, but it built incredibly strong people. So the next time life feels hard, remember what kids endured back then. Warm food, safe homes, and modern medicine are not small things. They're the result of thousands of years of struggle and survival. So which challenge from this video shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments. I really want to know. If this video taught you something new, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history you were never taught. Thanks for walking through ancient childhood with me today. There are so many more incredible stories from our ancient past. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.